Hi, my name is Beth Ann Rocker, and I'm 29 years old. I was born June 14, 1979. My father, Andy, had baptized me at St. Peter and Paul Roman Catholic Church in North City, Ohio, about a week later. I'm going to share a 10-minute video summary of some of my childhood sexual abuse. It is of public legal record that the main person that abused me was a clergy member of the Roman Catholic Church, Father Gary Zielinski, who has a public documented history of being moved from parish to parish, several leaves of absence for rehabilitation, and has a past of other child victims coming forward with their painful physical and emotional memories and traumatizing ritual abuses as adult survivors to diocese officials and legal police authorities. Some of the incidents happened at St. Peter and Paul Parish in my hometown, and the main incident happened on Seneca Lake on a pontoon boat. I don't know whose boat it was. It could have been the diocese property, Father Zielinski's private property, or my father's friend's boat, or a friend of Father Zielinski's boat. This public state park and recreation area is between Guernsey County and Noble County lines near Senecaville, Ohio. My abuse started after I made the sacrament of my first Holy Communion in second grade while attending Holy Trinity Catholic Parochial Elementary School in Byesville, Ohio. I was between the ages of 8 and 9 years old, about the school year of 1987-1988. Sometime within that year, or right after, my younger brother Michael, by a year and a half, made his first Holy Communion, and he and I became altar servers during the daily morning masses, weekend masses, and holiday services. During this time, I would get dressed behind the wall behind the church altar, where all the kids got dressed in their altar server uniforms, always over top of regular street clothes. And Father Zielinski would come up from behind me and hug and squeeze my breast tightly over top of my clothes. At other times, Father Zielinski would hug me from the front side and squeeze my chest in the sacristy by the front entrance of the church before lining up for the processional hymn to start the Mass and the Holy Church service. I noticed that Father Zielinski would shake a lot and was probably from medications or drugs of some sort. He had nervous tics about him pretty much all the time lately. The breast fondling seemed weird to me and uncomfortable, but it wasn't a big deal. I personally knew other child victims, their abuse stories. I wouldn't use their real names, so child number A and child number B were in high school when I was in grade school. We were about 4 years apart. Child number A and some of her friends and I used to play Barbie dolls together. Child number A was raped and got pregnant from this incident and was forced to get an abortion. Child number B was also raped, and when she went to tell authorities, she got beaten up bloody by the so-called holy and perfect hands of Father Zielinski. Then there were several widows in the church, and adult A in particular, who I knew personally, seemed to have been having an affair with Father Zielinski. He would greet her with a big bear hug, lifting her off her feet and squeezing her breast against his chest. She was about twice the size of him too. This is not uncommon because there were lots of sayings going around that he was having affairs with his housekeeper maids at the rectory house where he lived, and in the public church bathroom, which is off the church rectory, supposedly had a hidden camera and a unisex bathroom so Father Zielinski could watch the girls and women. The big incident happened in the summer school break on a pontoon boat in a lagoon on a medium-sized island across from the main boat marina adjacent to the beach with a tall metal slide at Seneca Lake. It happened between the years of 1990 and 1991, when I would have been between the ages of 11 and 12 years old. My brother was also with me when this disturbing illegal sexual touching occurred. Father Zielinski suggested I sit in the captain's chair to drive the boat. I thought this would be fun, safe, and okay to do. I had driven our family's boat, and so had my brother, without any problems. We had taken small boat, watercraft, and water safety classes for years. My brother and I were both very good competitive swimmers. I had competed at the state and national levels with great success. So I was sitting in his lap, and he opened his legs, and I slid down between his legs. He rubbed against me, and I felt his penis get hard against my backside of my swimsuit. Then I felt something warm and wet drip down my backside. I immediately got up, and my brother and I jumped in the water and swam to the lagoon. and started to talk about what happened and what we should do about it to protect ourselves and get away and get help. We decided to jump off the boat and have a contest who could jump the highest and make the biggest splash and rock the boat the most. After a couple of jumps, Father Zielinski comes over to me and asked if he could throw me in the air off the boat. So the first jump was fine. He was gaining my trust slowly and cautiously. The second jump, he put his hands between my legs, and one of his digits of his fingers went up into my vagina with part of my one-piece competitive bathing suit. The other hand was on the side of my waist to stabilize me in the air. After that, my brother and I started to swim to shore. We were disgusted and angry. It was about only 800 meters away. That was nothing compared to the 4,000 meters or yards we had to do in swim practice every day. Father Zielinski drove the boat near us and demanded we get in the boat and that we were making a scene and that he didn't want us to get too tired and drown in the water and he could get in trouble. Well, since I recently pressed criminal charges against Father Zielinski 1 year ago in 2007, and then the law took the case to the Guernsey County grand jury in 2008 to see if there was enough evidence to go to trial with. It was not to find out if Father Zielinski was innocent or guilty. One of the so-called impartial grand jurors asked, "So why did you continue to serve in the church and go out with Father Zielinski on trips?" My reply is because my dad's campaign advisor, B.H., who died of natural causes before I could prosecute him, he touched, fondled, and molested my breasts on top of and under my clothes on a few occasions, and even in front of my dad, Andy. My dad did nothing about it. He did not say that this is wrong and should not have happened and it should be stopped immediately. Nothing was his response of a city law director and lawyer and private practicing attorney. So what was I to do and expect? This is normal for male friends of the family to do this type of groping and gross sexual imposition? Another question asked by a grand jury member was, why did I wait so long to come forward with this evidence of sexual abuse? My response to this question is that one of my family friends saw an article in the Steubenville Diocese paper or newsletter of some sort, and it featured an article about Father Zielinski being a youth group leader in a parish near Marietta, Ohio. Father Zielinski had mysteriously disappeared from our church parish in 1992, so I thought that someone else had reported him, or someone had told about what I had been to me, and that maybe someone saw something happen to me and other girls. I was relieved that the priest had gone and the abuse would stop, and other kids and I in our area would be safe again. Being faced with this new evidence being presented that he was in the vicinity of innocent children and preying on the young minds at another church, and could be abusing, which is very likely for repeat offenders, whether or not having been through a successful sexual abuse perpetrator rehabilitation services or not for any length of time. I was faced with the opportunity to protect our most valuable resources, innocent children. It is our civil and religious duty to help those in need, being victimized and possibly abused by such trusting, eloquent speakers of the Bible, storytellers, masked players, outgoing community good-doers, and manipulative, smart people who are also corrupt Roman Catholic Church officials and lay leaders. So it has come to my attention that this priest, Father Zielinski, was still in the habit as practicing pulpit and community priest. It was my and the community's civil and legal duty to put an end to it when someone has done criminal behavior, especially against a child. I am within the statutes of limitations to bring charges against Father Gary Zielinski. Another interesting question by a juror was asked, when did I start writing the book? And why didn't I mention in my book about the digital penetration of Father Zielinski's finger on the boat incident? To answer this question, I stated simply that I had started writing the book in high school and had continued with the project through a college senior paper to grad school thesis and social work master's program, and still putting the finishing editing touches for publishing this year. In addition, not every New York bestseller book or Oprah book has every detail of the author's life in it for the public to read about. This detail, being in my book or not, does not determine if Father Zielinski is guilty or innocent. of the crimes I'm prosecuting him for and others have tried to prosecute him on. Another juror asked, why didn't my brother tell something about the abuse? The juror stated that children always tell everything. I corrected the juror, stating that numerous well-educated, professional, and published research, international and national journalists, psychologists, medical doctors, and psychiatrists have proven that children who have been traumatized over years tend to suppress memories about painful child abuse incidents, and the recollections of the abuse don't resurface until many years pass. Children victims have been told not to tell anyone because no one will believe them, because they are children and they are evil, and that it is the child's fault that the incident happened and don't know what they are talking about. It is possible that they were threatened by death or religious belief that the priest is always right and then the adult knows best, or the child's family would be harmed if they talk about what happened to them.